Hey y'all, and good now, whenever and wherever this finds you. Welcome to today's episode of Pontification by TC. Today I have a special opportunity. My latest joy was to make snippets out of an interview that a radio station did with Jimmy Dore. And they had a Zoom of all four of them together, and so for me it was to take snippets, and I had a really great time, and so I want to share some of those with you now. This snippet is about American aggressiveness versus Chinese cooperation.
Yeah,
that's
mic drop.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dore, you fascinate me. I don't know if that's relevant, but oh my God, like you probably get this all the time. I haven't seen anybody talk like you or have your thought flow. I want to ask you how you maintain your blood pressure. I want to ask you how long you've been angry. I want to ask you how you know the things you know and how you've been able to maintain your passion around it. And this is what worries me. Your brain, we need your brain, like collectively. Will you be open to the possibility that people are going to start not paying attention to mainstream media? Like people like myself, like Ariel, like Bryce. There are a lot of us. There are a lot of us that just don't pay attention anymore. We seek our own opinions. We formulate our own opinions. We generate communities where we engage in critical thinking. Are you open to that? And if so, will you be less angry?
Well, I don't know about that.
I know.
I
never stop being angry, Jimmy. It's too good. It's just too good.
Exactly. I'm conflicted about it.
It's a thin line between, passion and, kind of righteous indignation. Is that what I want to say? And anger. Right. And so, but I don't, it's just, it's more, and it's like, it's a combination of all those things. I think it's a combination, and, it's, I think, as Cornel West said, somebody's got to shout. And so I can't believe that other people aren't shouting. I can't believe that other people on YouTube, who I know through coming up through the Bernie Sanders movement in 2015 and 16, have turned into the thing that they used to be against. They turned into pro-war, pro-censorship authoritarians. And they became authoritarians around COVID. And of course, we're being lied to. But, I remember I was on the Young Turks panel one time, and I can't remember what the discussion was about, but they were they were like, how do you decipher what's the government saying? How do you approach it in your reporting? And I said, well, I just come from the, when do you know they're telling the truth and when not? And how do you know when they're lying? And I said, well, my jumping off point is that the government is lying, and I just have to find out where. And they all laughed. I'm like, well, that's what we should be doing if you guys don't think that. And of course they didn't, which is why they repeated CIA and FBI talking points about the president and Russiagate and Russia, which led us to be now in a hot war. We're actually in a hot war with Russia. We have the leak let us know that we have special op forces on the ground in Ukraine. I already thought I knew that, but apparently that everybody else did it. I thought I could swear to God I already reported on that. I think they called them advisors, right? Like, oh, we're going to have advisors. Well, if they're on the ground in Ukraine and they get killed, then that's an American soldier getting killed. We're in a hot war. That's what they said about Vietnam. Oh, we're just sending advisors, right? As soon as you do that, we all know what. So that's why none of those revelations to me seem like a big deal. But I guess they were to other people. But I also think that they were intentionally leaked by the CIA, and I don't know what for. Why would they give that if that actually is sensitive information, they give it to a 21-year-old kid who's in the frickin' National Guard? Get the F out of here. That's some kind of there's something going on that we don't know. Just like war, just like, as Smedley Butler said, war is a racket. It's only the real reason for the war is only known by a handful of people who stand to gain greatly and profit from it, and everybody else thinks it's about something else. Just like everybody in. College-educated comedians who are supposed to be skeptical of everything sit there, and I see them repeat CIA talking points about Ukraine and about Putin, and they think Putin is some special kind of thug. You ever look at the globe and you see how many military bases the United States has around? Nobody else. We have 1,000. It's like crazy. And instead of investing and becoming economic partners with people, we go in, we find out who's the most unhappy with their government. We give a lot of money and guns. We say, go start a civil war, decapitate your leader, and then we'll institute a puppet and then we'll steal your natural resources. That's how we do it, instead of what China's doing right now is, hey, you need a port, we'll build a port for you. You don't have to pay it back right now. Don't worry about it. You have to take it easy. Unlike that's what we should be doing. And right now, China and Russia are the peacemakers in the world. Right now, Russia just negotiated a peace deal between Syria and I think Saudi Arabia, and I think Saudi Arabia and Iran. That's a big deal, right? So China did that. So and China has a peace plan for Ukraine. Of course, the United States doesn't want that, right? The last thing they want is peace. That's another thing those documents reveal, is that the United States government, the administration, isn't looking for a peace deal in 2023. Of course, well, what does that tell you? These people are psychopathic murderers for profit. And Joe Biden, you think Joe Biden's making the decision? The guy can't even get stuck in a couch 3 times a day. That guy's not making decisions. And it certainly isn't Kamala Harris. So who do you think is? Of course, it's the same handful of people who picked Barack Obama, the same handful of people who picked Joe Biden, and Trump was an upset in that apple cart, and that's why they can't have him back, because every once in a while, it's not because Trump lies. Isn't that funny? They tried to make you think that the reason why they hated Donald Trump was because he was lying in Washington. Isn't that hilarious? It's almost like a joke. I can't even write something that funny. It's because he would tell the truth every once in a while. When he said there's a deep state that controls things. So they've been here before me, when they're going to be here after me. They're the ones. You can't. He was the president saying that. He wasn't some frickin' camera, open microphone. They can't have that. When they asked him, why are you leaving troops in Syria? And he said, for the oil. They can't have that. You can't just have the president of the United States, because everybody else in the world sees that. And then now they know the game, and they got the president of the United States admitting it. So that's why they hated Donald Trump. And that's why it took them so long to impeach him, because they had to find a crime that he committed that they also didn't commit. And the only one, and the crime he committed was he paused the shipment of arms to Ukraine.
I just love Jimmy Dore and the way he talks with such passion and righteous indignation. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you down the road.